Hi, I'm Jill Maurer. Today we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. and his role in our nation's history as a civil rights leader. I would like to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. not only as a civil rights activist and leader, but also as a great designer and architect of the future.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream.
So often when we think of Martin Luther King Jr., the first thing that comes to mind is we think of his I Have a Dream speech. And that I Have a Dream speech was such an iconic moment in American history that not only do we think of Martin Luther King Jr. when we think of the I Have a Dream speech, but we actually think, for a lot of us, it summarizes and represents the whole civil rights movement in this country. So today I want to talk about that speech and why that speech was so great and why I see Martin Luther King Jr. as a master designer. A lot of times when you look at it on YouTube or you Google it, you look for the I Have a Dream speech. That's where it starts. It starts with I Have a Dream. So the speech starts, it's the 100th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation, and Martin Luther King Jr. starts with a very well thought out, very cerebral, very informative speech, and even motivating speech about the Emancipation Proclamation. It's the 100th anniversary, and how 100 years later, we're still not free. Blacks are still not free. He gives measures by which they are not free. He says, we're here today to cash a check. We want to cash a check, collect on a promissory note that goes back even before that, to the Declaration of Independence. That we were promised that all men are created equal. This is what we said in order to break free from the King of England. It was a promise that all men are created equal, and that is how America will go forward. So it's not even just 100 years, for 200 years or close to that, we've had this problem where we have not been seen as equal, and then we were emancipated and we're still not there. He said, let's not let our militancy create a distrust in our white brothers, many of whom are here today. They understand that our destiny is tied to their destiny. So we talk about that a lot. Like, you are not free until the person next to you is free. You are tied together. That's the way that it works. So up until this point, it was a good speech. It was a solid speech. It was a good speech. It was a cerebral speech. It is very, very well thought out. It's good. Here's where the magic happens. It becomes this masterpiece, this iconic centerpiece in American history. When a woman in the audience says, "Tell them about your dream." This was impromptu. Now, there were times that he talked about it before, and obviously this woman had heard about it before. Why did she say this? Why did she say, "Tell them about your dream"? Because for her, that dream was real. She'd heard about it before. It's living in her head. She knows it. It has connected with her, and she wants him to share it with everybody. And he does. And he says, "I have a dream." So when Martin Luther King Jr. said, "I have a dream," everything shifted. Everything shifted. The speech went from good to great, and a lot of people could suddenly see the future that Martin Luther King Jr. saw. This is great design. This is architecture. This is leadership. This is creating a vision that other people can see and then help you build. Because if you can make us see it, then we can see our role in it and we can help you build it. He said, "I have a dream. I have a dream where we're living in a world where former slaves and former slave owners sit down together." I mean, I can see this. I have a dream that little black boys and little black girls hold hands with little white boys and little white girls and play together as equals. I have a dream where my 4 children live in a world where they're not judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. We can now see this. This was not the world we lived in at that time. I say we, I wasn't born yet. So you have to understand, this speech was so long ago that I wasn't even born yet. Yet, he's talking to me. I've got the vision. I can see the vision, and I can see my part in helping this dream to become a reality. This great future that Martin Luther King designed for us all to create together, live in together, and enjoy together. So one definition of design is to create something that other people can participate in. He gave us the blueprint of what this would look like. And it's wonderful visionary design when you can do it on such an enormous scale that now, many, many years later, he's not here to keep telling us about this, but we've still got it. We've still got the vision. People who looked nothing like him, who weren't alive during the time that he was alive, have his vision. He's still speaking to us, and we are able to all come together and look at the blueprint and say, are we there yet? We are not there yet. We are definitely not there yet. Here's my part. Here's what I can do to help build this future. That is great, masterful design. So thank you for watching and for letting me be a part of your celebration of Martin Luther King Jr. today. I invite you to comment about what Martin Luther King Jr. means to you, what he did for you, or about that speech and how it affected you. I upload videos every Thursday, usually about design, sometimes more than every Thursday. So I invite you to subscribe, and I'll see you next Thursday.